Why Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame, the full story. Barry Bonds is widely regarded as one of the most talented and dominant baseball players in history. With 762 career home runs, 7 MVP awards, and a fearsome on-base percentage that made pitchers routinely walk him even with the bases loaded, Bonds wasn't just great, he was on another level. So why, more than a decade after his retirement, is Barry Bonds still not in the National Baseball Hall of Fame? The answer is as complicated as the man himself, and today, we're diving into the full story. To understand the controversy, we need to first look at his numbers, because on paper, Barry Bonds is a lock. Not just a Hall of Famer, a first ballot, unanimous legend. He holds the all-time records for home runs in a single season, 73, walks, 2,558, and intentional walks, 688, more than double the next closest player. He's also the only member of the 500 home run/500 stolen base club. No other player in MLB history comes close to that kind of statistical dominance. If baseball were only about performance, Bonds would have had a plaque in Cooperstown years ago. But performance is only part of the equation, and that's where the story turns. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Major League Baseball entered what we now call the steroid era. Offensive numbers across the league exploded. Home run races between players like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa brought baseball back from the brink after the 1994 strike, and the fans loved it. But behind the scenes, suspicions of widespread performance-enhancing drug use were growing, and Barry Bonds, whether he was early or late to the trend, became the face of that era. Bonds was never suspended for steroid use. He never failed an official MLB drug test. But in 2003, his name appeared in connection with Balco, a company accused of supplying PEDs to athletes. During a grand jury testimony, Bonds reportedly admitted to using substances later identified as the Clear and the Cream, though he said he believed they were flaxseed oil and arthritis balm. This testimony, and the years of speculation around his physical transformation and power surge in the early 2000s, painted a damning picture, one that many voters simply could not look past. The Hall of Fame voting process is run by the Baseball Writers Association of America, BBWAA, and they're not just looking at stats. They're asked to consider a player's integrity, sportsmanship, and character, a clause that has haunted not just Bonds, but others connected to the steroid era like Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire. Voters were split for years. Some argued that Bonds was a Hall of Famer even before any suspected PED use. Others said that honoring him would legitimize cheating, regardless of his numbers. Over 10 years of eligibility, Bonds came close. In his final year of BBWAA voting in 2022, he received 66% of the vote. That's well short of the required 75% threshold. His case then shifted to the Hall of Fame's Contemporary Era Committee, a smaller panel of players, executives, and media members. In 2022, that committee also declined to vote him in. For now, Bonds remains on the outside looking in. So what's really keeping Barry Bonds out? It's not just about steroids, it's about timing, perception, and legacy. Bonds played at a time when baseball turned a blind eye to PEDs, and when that era ended, someone had to take the fall. Bonds, with his controversial personality, his tense relationship with the media, and his outsized numbers, became an easy target. He wasn't beloved like Ken Griffey Jr., and he didn't shy away from the spotlight like others. He was defiant, and that defiance may have sealed his fate. The debate over Bonds isn't going away anytime soon. Supporters say the Hall of Fame already includes players with checkered pasts, and that excluding Bonds creates a false version of baseball history. Critics argue that drawing a line somewhere is necessary, and that if you don't hold players accountable, the record books become meaningless. The truth is, both sides have a point, and that's what makes this topic so divisive. Whether or not Barry Bonds ever gets into the Hall of Fame, his impact on baseball is undeniable. He changed the way teams pitched, how players trained, and how fans understood the game. He was feared, respected, and watched with awe even by people who disliked him. His legacy is complicated, but it's real. And maybe, in time, the Hall of Fame will reflect that. Until then, Barry Bonds remains the greatest player not enshrined in Cooperstown and perhaps the biggest what-if in Hall of Fame history.